Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. This video will be over the second part of the A Major Etude for the TMEA 2020 Flute All-State Etudes audition. In my previous video, I went over measures 1 through 12, and so in this video, I'll be starting in measure 13. So if you haven't seen the other video, go and check that out first. So first, I will play measures 13 through 17 so you can kind of look ahead through those measures and see what might, trip you up, and you can just listen to them and know how they go before I teach through them. So this is 13 through 17. 1, ready, go. Okay, so starting in measure 13, I want you to look at this rhythm again. It's the same when you look at the last couple of measures, just like measure 9 and 10 over here. You see we have quarter and then 16th notes. Those are again in duple time, and then we have triplets on counts 3 and 4 there. So I'm going to count 13. Ready, count. 1, 2 E and a 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1. Or we have 1, 2 E and a triplet, 1. And then that rhythm repeats for the next measure. So again, I would practice saying that with the metronome before you play it. Let's look at, so measure 13 is pretty straightforward with the notes. In that measure, we just have F sharp, A, C sharp. And then that repeats, F sharp, A, C sharp. Those are the only 3 notes that we have in that measure. But now looking forward to measure 14, it's a little bit more tricky. Make sure that you get this A sharp that carries through the rest of the measure. And then we also have A sharp here that carries through down there. So I would go ahead and mark those in your music so you get those. Also, we're playing G natural, and those are marked both times. Let's fermata each note. So I'm just going to hold out each note, and you play them with me. So A sharp, C sharp, G natural, A sharp, C sharp, E, A sharp, C sharp, G natural, A sharp, A sharp, then B natural. So again, I'm going to count that rhythm. We have 1, 2 E and a triplet, 1. So I would kind of practice, naming the notes, fingering through the notes. You can finger it through with the metronome without playing, so you can kind of match up the rhythm and the fingers. I'm going to play 13 and 14 together a couple times so you can practice that with me. Measure 13, ready, go. Together, playing again, go. And again, you can put on that triplet subdivision to practice counts 3 and 4. So I'm gonna do that for measure 13. Triplet, ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Now, doing the same thing on measure 14, counts 3 and 4. Triplet, ready, go. Again, go. Then I'm going to put on the 8th note subdivision, practice the first 2 counts of measure 13. Ready, go. Again, go. first two counts of measure 14. Ready, go. Again, go. Okay, now I'm going to take off the subdivision and I'm going to play the first two counts, rest for a quarter note or for one click, and then play counts 3 and 4 in measure 13. And I'll do it a couple times. Ready, go. So just like that. Again, ready, play. Again, go. Let's put that all together. So take out the rest, play it as written, just measure 13. Ready, go. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with 14. Play the first two counts, rest, second, or counts 3 and 4. Measure 14. Ready, go. Sorry, I'll actually rest this time. Again, go. Same thing again. Ready, go. Put that all together, all of measure 14. Ready, go. Okay, let's do that for measures 13 and 14 now, playing it all together. Measures 13 and 14. Ready, go. Let's actually back up a little bit to measures 9. Let's play 9 through 14, especially so that this whole section from 9 through 12, it's all forte. And then in 13, we have a big dynamic change down to piano. So make sure that you're playing, at least soft in measure 13 and 14. And then I actually do somewhat crescendo through measure 15. And this portion can be, pretty loud. As long as you diminuendo over here, that should be good. But let's do 9 through 14. 1, ready, go. So if you need to go back and practice anything, you can pause the video. But let's actually keep going on to measure 15. Let's say and finger the note names for measure 15. So we have B natural, quarter note tied to a 16th, and then we actually have F double sharp, which is fingered like G natural, because you take F and you sharp it not only once to F sharp, but you sharp it twice to G, and so F double sharp, so that this note right here, the F with a little X by it, is an F double sharp, and that's fingered like G. Then we have G sharp, A sharp, fingered like B flat, B natural. So on that A sharp, you're definitely going to have to use 1 and 1 B flat, so you can pick up that finger to play B natural immediately after A sharp. Then we have D sharp, E natural, F double sharp, fingered like G, G sharp, A sharp, B, D sharp. So we do have somewhat a repeat of notes. If you look right here, I'll actually draw that in so you can see this. So from here to here, and then here to there, we actually have a repeat of notes. So again, we have F double sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, D sharp, connected by an E natural in the middle there, and then we have F double sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, D sharp. So it looks kind of complicated when you first look at it. However, you play it once down an octave, then you play it again up an octave. So let's just we'll play them in quarter notes. Okay, I have my metronome set. Quarter notes. Ready, go. Okay, and here's where you can kind of use some uneven rhythms if you want. So we could play long, short, long, short, long. Again, play it with me. So that's long, short, long, short, long. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Let's play that up an octave, starting on the F double sharp. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Now we're going to change the rhythm. Short, long, short, long, short. So it sounds like. Play that with me. Ready, go. Again, that's short, long, short. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Play that up an octave. Ready, go. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Okay, so those are the first two uneven rhythms that I have, and I think I talked about them in another video, but we have long, short, long, short, long. Then we have short, long, short, long, short. Now we're going to do quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth. So long, long, short, short, long. So it sounds like. Play it with me. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again, go. Now play this up an octave. 2, ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again, go. So that was long, long, short, short, long. Now we're going to reverse that, and so it's going to be eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter, quarter. So short, short, long, long, long. So it sounds like. Play that with me. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again, go. Play that up an octave. 2, ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Again, go. All right, so now you should, by this time, you've actually played those notes, multiple times. I don't know how many times I repeated them, 4 to 5 times, probably. So now actually, let's play it. We're actually going to kind of slow it down and play it in just straight eighth notes, starting on count 2. So we're going to start right on the B natural and just play this in straight eighth notes as opposed to 16th, so we can practice it, getting it in time and also with that E natural. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and so in eighth notes it sounds like this. Ready, go. Actually, we're going to add on the next note from the next measure in 16, which is an F sharp. So I would actually write F sharp over here so that you know that your next note is going to be that F sharp in measure 16. So let's play that together again, just in straight eighth notes, starting on count 2 of measure 15. 1 and ready, go. Again, go. that was 63, but really giving the eighth note the beat. And so you'd want to work that up faster. Let's play it a little faster. So same thing, eighth notes. Let's play that around 80. Okay. And eighth notes. 1 and 2, ready, go. Again, ready, go. Okay, now let's do it at 100. And this is actually going to equal 50 when you give the quarter note the beat. So we're just really subdividing. 1, 2, ready, go. And now I'm gonna bump it. So that was 100. We're gonna do same tempo, but I'm gonna just put the metronome at 50. Take off the subdivision, and we'll start at the beginning of the measure, right there on the downbeat, and practicing that tie again. So we're gonna hear 2 clicks, 1 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 is how it should sound like. That's the rhythm. So get ready to move off of that tie, but it definitely has to last all the way until you hear that second click. 1, 2, and ready, go. Again, go. So you can play that a couple more times on your own. Let's go ahead and move backwards and add on measures 13 and 14. So this is measures 13 through 15 plus 1 note. Starting measure 13, ready, go. And so really, at the beginning of measure 15, you're coming in from triplets in measure 14, and so you really have to have your subdivision going through that tied note so that you're not subdividing improperly, so that these 16th notes can be perfectly in time with the metronome. So that's definitely going to take some practice. That's what I would work on. So moving on to measure 16 now, take a look at that. I'm going to play through measure 16. Ready, listen. Okay, and in this measure, once you really hit that second beat right there, and beats 3 through 4, we only have 3 notes that are happening. We have E natural, G sharp, and B natural. So this is kind of really kind of like a mixed up arpeggio. So again, E natural, G sharp, B natural. So the first, let's play just the first beat. Count 1. Ready, go. Again, go. Alright, and then you're going to want to finger through the next part before moving on, but I'm just going to play it beat by beat. So this is the second count of measure 16. Ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. And maybe you can't play it that fast yet, so what I would also actually do is really you can practice this giving the 8th note the beat, and so all 16 notes will sound like 8th notes. And so I'd put my metronome maybe on around 80, put on that 8th note subdivision like that. Then you're going to play it all in 8th notes, so it sounds like this. Ready, go. See if you can play that together with me, and then we'll speed it up together. So this is 80. Ready, go. All right. Practice anything that you need to. I'm going to speed it up. This is 86. Ready, go. Okay, now I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. This is 92. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, going to speed it up a little bit more. 96. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, speeding it up a little bit more to 100. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so that was 100, giving the 8th note the beat. I'm going to drop it down, divide it in half. So 100 divided by 2 is 50. And this is going to be our original, giving the quarter note the beat, playing it as written with the 16th notes. And hopefully you can play it at this speed. But that process that we just did, I would use that for anything that you're trying to definitely work on the technique. And if you can't play it that fast, you can really do that throughout this etude. If you want to start, 8th note equals, 72 or 80, speed it up to 100, and then you can drop it down to 50 and give the quarter note equals 50. And so really you just play it once with the metronome, making sure you have all of the right notes, rhythms, articulation, dynamics. If all of that is correct and you feel comfortable and your fingers don't feel frantic, then you speed it up just a little bit, or like one click on your metronome, and then play it again, see how that felt. If it felt a little too fast, you can just slow it back down and maybe stick with that tempo, but just kind of keep speeding it up until you're pretty fast, but you're not too uncomfortable. We don't want it to sound frantic. And so you definitely want to keep your fingers light. If you're having trouble playing faster, it might be because you're gripping the flute too hard, but you don't have to worry. You're most likely not going to drop the flute. So you can kind of loosen your grip, lighten the fingers, and that will allow you to play faster. But let's play measure 16 as written in 16 notes. 1 E and a 2, ready, go. Again, go. Okay, so that's it for measure 16. Let's see if we can add it on measure 13 through 16. So go back to measure 13, let's play through 16. 1 E and a, ready, go. Okay, let's look ahead to measure 17. Let's say and finger the note names together. So we have D sharp, then C double sharp, which is actually fingered like D natural, because you take C, you sharp it once, makes C sharp, you sharp it twice, makes D natural. So C double sharp equals D natural. Then we do have that D sharp on the next note, so that actually carries through. Mark that in the music. Then the next note we have is F sharp, A, B natural, D sharp, F sharp, D sharp, C sharp, B, A sharp, A, F sharp, C sharp. And then that last note, it's hard to see that I have it written in pencil, but this is a D sharp right there. And I do want to point out that we have a fermata on that C sharp, so you can kind of hold it out, and then whenever you're ready to move on, then you play the D sharp and to the downbeat in measure 18. So this is what that measure sounds like. You can go ahead and listen. Ready, go. Okay, so pause the video. Maybe you want to play through the notes in eighth notes, something like this. Ready, go. So I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's try that. So I have the metronome set on 86, and we're going to play it through in eighth notes. 1, 2, eighth notes, go. Okay, going to speed that up from 86 now to 92. 1, 2, and ready, go. Speeding that up to 96. 2, and ready, play. Okay, speeding it up to 100. 1, 2, eighth notes, go. Okay, I'm going to drop that down to 50. So now it's going to be as written, giving the quarter note the beat. Okay, I have 50 on my metronome. So we're thinking 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and da-dum. Playing. 2 and ready, go. Really, you can hold that C sharp as long as you like, but that's kind of how I hold it. If I were playing without the metronome, it would sound more like. You can really just kind of hold it out and then move along. Okay, so practice that measure a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add on measure 16. So this is measure 16 and 17 at 50. Playing 1 and 2, ready, go. Okay, gonna add on measure 15, starting measure 15, ready, go. Okay, let's actually keep going. So we're going to start in measure 18 now. I'm going to play measures 18 through 22. So you can go ahead and listen to that. Ready, go. So right there after the E natural, right here, before those grace notes, I would sort of hold it out so you have. So you can take a good breath before those grace notes. I'm actually going to play this again. I'm going to put on the eighth note subdivision. I think that would definitely help through the majority of this section. So pretty much as soon as you're done playing triplets in measure 14, I would practice this with the eighth note subdivision. I'm playing it without the eighth note subdivision a lot, so you can just hear where the big downbeats are. However, I think the eighth note subdivision would actually be helpful if you practice it with the eighth note subdivision on your own. So I'm going to play it again with the eighth note subdivision. Feel free to play this section with me. So this is 18 through 22. 2 and ready, go. So I think a good way to practice this would be to, again, give the eighth note the beat. So I'm going to set my metronome. Let's set it to like 70, 76, and we'll give the eighth note the beat throughout this section. So playing 18 through 22, if you need to really, look at these notes before playing this with me, you can. But let's give the eighth note the subdivision now. 1, 2, ready, go. And make sure you don't get lost in those beats in here, because we have D going down to B natural, E to A sharp, and then same thing, we're starting on E, but we're going to B, E to A sharp. Then we start the same thing, but then we have to jump up the octave. So we do have, repeated notes, and it's kind of easy to get a little lost in there, especially when you're playing it on the eighth notes. Let's do that a little bit faster. Let's do that at 88 equals the eighth note. 1, 2, ready, play. Sorry, my metronome died for a second there. Okay, I got it back. All right, so another way to practice this is to just play 5 notes at a time, or practicing beat by beat. So I'm going to start right here on beat 4. We're just going to play 5 notes at a time. So it's going to sound like this. Again, ready, go. And then you would play the next beat, starting on C sharp. Ready, go. Again, go. Next beat, ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. Next beat, starting on A, ready, go. Again, go. Again, go. So, and you would keep going through that, but I'm going to kind of cut that short just for the video. Really, and then you can work individual beats much faster, and so that's how it also kind of work on speed. Like, let's say you are able to play the etude at quarter note equals 80, but you're really stuck at 80 and you can't quite get it to the 112 tempo that it's supposed to be. And so I would just try to see if I could play those individual beats faster. So it sounds like. And then, if I messed up, I'd play it again. So maybe that beat's a little hard for me. And then keep going. Just like that. And then you could put those together. And you can also use the uneven rhythms here. So this is quite a technical section. This is probably one of the sections that I would really go through and practice the most. Just because it might be a little bit, definitely more difficult when you're trying to get it up to 112. So I'd spend a little bit more time through this section. So those are just kind of some practice suggestions to help kind of like guide your practice. So again, practicing beat by beat or using uneven rhythms. That's what's really going to help in starting slow and then gradually working it faster, kind of one click at a time on the metronome. And what I do is I actually write my tempo out to the side. So let's say, if I played it at, eighth note equals 88, that's what I would write out to the side. And then the next day I'd come back and see if I can do it faster than 88, see if I can get it to like 92 or 96. So that's why I have those quarter notes drawn out to the side. Those are to help with keeping track of my tempos, or my perfect tempos, which is the fastest tempo that you can most perfectly play a phrase at. And so I'd mark that out to the side. Okay, let's keep going here. We are going to start looking at measures 23 actually through 28. And this section should seem familiar to you because it's an exact repeat of what we have at the beginning. And so it's actually all the way the same up until in measure 7 we have this G sharp right there. And so we have like 2 lines plus measure right there. And then again, all this is the same as the beginning, all the way up until we actually have a note right there. So these 3 notes in measure 29. So all of this from measure 23 through the first 3 notes of 29 are all of the same. So I'm going to play that once, and then all we have to do after that is just work on 29 through to the end. So let me get my metronome out. You can go ahead and play along with me. If you feel comfortable, this is something that we've worked on previously in another video, in the part 1 video. Okay, so starting grace notes to measure 3, and so those grace notes are A, C sharp, and E. If they're a little too small on yours and you can't see what they are. Okay, playing. 1, 2, ready. Okay, then again, this part from 29 through to the end is different, so now I'm going to demonstrate that. 2, 29, go. And then this part at the end is actually going to be a lot slower than the original. So the rest of the etude is at allegro maestoso, and then this is largo. So this actually might kind of be the final tempo for largo for the end, is played at 54. So this is the ending, probably really at its final tempo, because it is marked largo, which is pretty slow. 2, ready, go. So there would be a tempo change in the last measure. So that's pretty much everything. Again, in measure 30, we do have a quarter note tied to a 16th, so make sure you just hear the 2 clicks. Again, and 31, same thing. This is a high A natural, so you can write that in if you're not familiar with the note. There's nothing else really too complicated or for me to go over in this ending. So I'm going to play measures. Actually, I'm just going to play the whole thing, and that will be pretty much it for the video. I probably will stop in between to change the page. Okay, starting at the beginning, I'm going to play from beginning all the way up until measure 18. 1, 2, ready. And now for the second half, starting in measure 18. Zoom in. Okay, 1, 2, ready. Alright, so that's it, everything for this entire etude. Once you get it up to that tempo was 54, you're definitely going to want to work through the etude in phrases, playing each phrase one at a time with the metronome, making sure right notes, rhythms, articulations, dynamics, and then clicking it up gradually with the metronome, and then just writing out your perfect tempos up to the side. And so if you keep making sure that you're practicing, make sure that you're not practicing any mistakes. If you kind of correct yourself pretty quickly and you're always playing it correctly, even at a slow tempo, if you just gradually build that, it'll definitely be easier to play it, correctly. And another thing, it's better to play it slower with everything correctly than it is to play it fast and wrong, because that's not going to teach you anything, and that's really not going to sound great to the judges. So you want to make sure that you are just with the metronome and kind of gradually working that to get it faster, making sure you have light fingers, and just sort of kind of checking yourself through the way. Another good tip is to record yourself. Record yourself playing with the metronome often so that you can really check and see, am I with the metronome? How does it sound? And, am I messing anything up? It's really hard to assess yourself while you're playing. I would rather that you focus on playing when you're playing, and then just listen to recordings of you play to actually sort of assess and see, what am I missing? What can I do better? Am I with the metronome? And kind of ask yourself those questions then, rather than kind of focusing on that while you're playing. Alright, so that's pretty much everything I have for you guys. Let me know what was helpful in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.